And we are live once again for the Great Brand Reset Project, episode 15. And today we're going to be talking about a very heavy topic, I will say. This is the start of where it gets pretty technical. It's the start where the conversations runs deeper, and also the start of where things get to get clearer. So, if you've been following the conversation so far, do a like or comment that you've been following. Comment one if you're following so far and like this page and this video. So today's topic is about what is causing your customers the pain, and it's going to be a very in-depth conversation about what is pain and why do your customers feel pain when they are unable to solve the problem. So typically before you develop your product or service, it is meant to solve a problem. You need to understand that. So to solve a problem, you need to know which problem needs to be solved first. So that's why there is a certain framework that has been developed to address this conversation, and that is namely the value proposition tool. But before I go to there, I just need to remind you that we have launched a Facebook group for you to ask questions and for us to have interactions. So the Facebook group is called the Great Brand Reset Project as well, where you rebrand, recharge, and refocus. So if you're still following on the profile or LinkedIn, you can still continue the conversation, but a group is where you get extra perks and extra attention and conversation. And a quick recap of episode 13, we explored about how we're going to offer branding and marketing campaigns to real estate agents especially, and we did an empathy map to understand what goes on in their daily lives and what they encounter in their job, how they feel about it, they think, they see, and what does success mean to them, as well as what is an obstacle for them. So we did that whole conversation, 6 items, and we also try to understand who might be the ideal persona of an agent based on what we can offer based on our skill set. This is the ideal persona that we feel can benefit from this conversation. Oh, it's a bit wonky. Let me set this up. So today's conversation is to expose you to how you can develop your unique selling proposition. And I want to show you what is a value proposition canvas. So there's going to be 2 parts to a value proposition canvas. That means this conversation is going to have multiple segments as well over multiple days. Because it's a very in-depth topic, we're not going to rush through. We're going to take our time to walk through. And I highly encourage you guys to ask as many questions as possible for this topic, because I know a lot of people, when I deliver this topic or when I engage my clients with this topic, they tend to get stuck or they are unable to fully flesh out their ideas. So that's why I insist that if you guys have a question, ask them right away. So there's 2 parts, the pains and the gains. And for today, this segment, we're only going to talk about the pains. So at the end of the day, this is how an ideal value proposition canvas will look like, where your pains are all filled up, the gains are all fleshed out as well. And you try to do a crossing or matching of the pains and the gain and filter and crystallize those ideas until you have your value proposition in your hands. So it's a process and step by step. So for today, we're just only going to go through the customer profile map. So what is customer profile map? It's going to be split to 3 segments. So let's say you want to serve, let's say, of an industry. Oh yes, of course, we do real estate. So for real estate, I'm serving the agents themselves, not the end client. So I want to imagine what are the pains or what's the profile of my typical real estate agent that I've created a persona about. And it's split into 3 columns. I'm just going to walk you through. Number 1 is your typical agent will have to fulfill jobs, and these jobs will actually have these 4 items that will be fulfilled. The 4 items may be like a functional job whereby it's more task-based. You ask them, okay, what task must you complete to identify as your job? Or maybe you ask socially, who will benefit, or who do you want to look good in front of, or socially in your circle, how will it elevate you if you are able to complete that job or task? And maybe personal, is a calling for you? Is it a calling for them? Is it a personal goal for them to complete that job, or is it a job where they're supporting other business functions? So these are the four items where you want to walk through yourself when you ask, what are the jobs that I am trying to solve for my client or for my audience? So if I were to look at agent, a functional thing is they are trying to match property with buyers or sellers. And socially, as they continue to progress through, they will definitely have a group, and they need to be able to perform well. And like I said, these are people who want to grow a team. So definitely the social part is very, very prominent, because they need to they need to be attracting people who have similar values in order to grow their team. So socially, it's really important that they have a social job. And personal may not be as strongly relevant. Supporting maybe, because they need to ensure that the buyers or sellers are able to perform their transactions accordingly. So again, this is just one segment. Ask your client, imagine your client, walk them through what are the functions that they need to fulfill in terms of their job. And then the pains. So this is very straightforward. You can ask them, what are the problems or obstacles that is standing in their way from completing that job or task that they have in mind? Or what are the constant obstacles that stops them from performing their best? And then ask them as well, what will failure look like as well? So what kind of failure? And ask them to be specific about it. And what are the risks that they expose? So for me, for an agent, undesired outcome is the deal falls through. Obstacle, they have to have multiple viewings or multiple conversation, or the negotiation is, there's a lot of roadblock in the negotiation. A risk is maybe for extended period of time they can't close, or maybe for this is mature agents, maybe they can't recruit quality people. That is the issue they face. So there's the risk whereby they are unable to grow team in a preferred amount of time. So that's the risk that you want to talk about. Now, gains. So gains is, what are the benefits that might come through from solving the client's problem. You can talk about required gains, expected from the transaction, with the monetary gains. Desired gains is what they expect from a solution. Maybe they want to build a team, there's a desired gain. Unexpected gain, maybe something totally different. They get featured on newspaper, or they get featured on the radio. So there's an unexpected gain. And required gain is the transaction amount. That is what is required as to be counted as a gain for them. So that is the kind of gains that they're looking for. Or maybe they want to grow a customer list. So like I said, this requires you to spend a lot of time to slowly walk through. And I'm going very fast here, because I want to ensure that you guys ask more questions and trying to digest everything that you see here. And after you filled up all three columns or all three questions, it doesn't end there, because you need to rank them. I forgot to add the word rank here. So you probably have 4 to 5 jobs, 4 to 5 pains, and 4 to 5 gains. And it doesn't end there, because we want to crystallize your idea and come to the final outcome. So that means you have 5 jobs. I want you to rank them in priority. Which is the most important job to fulfill? And pains, which pain is the most severe? And gains, which gains has the most benefit? And that's all you need to do. You just need to fill up either one of the three columns. Once you can typically print out this thing online, and if you want a copy, I can send you a copy as well. And fill up maybe with post-its. I will recommend post-its, and then arrange them. And you realize that some of the best practices I recommend is to keep asking why. If you find that you ask them, okay, what does gain looks to you, or what kind of benefit can you extract? What is a success for you? And they say success is making extra income. Ask them, what do you mean by extra income? How much more? And why that much more? What can they do to get much more income? So keep asking why. And let's say if you're working on, maybe for my example, real estate agents, but then I'm working on real estate agents who are new, real estate agents who are mature, and developers. Each of them are separate profile. I should not combine them as well. And if I find that I'm working on a similar profile but different age group, I should split them as well. If there's a very huge gap in the age group, because otherwise your answers are not very accurate and your findings are not going to be very accurate. The solution you develop will not be fitting as well. And lastly, be very specific. If you find that they're giving you broad answers, you're coming up with broad answers, get someone to sit down with you and ask you why, like annoying child. Let them ask you this non-stop. Okay? So next session, I will reveal to you how to develop your value map, because your value map is the second part of this conversation. It's where you will know, you come closer to finding out what are your skill sets, what are your abilities, and then how we can help people. And then we match them both. So you find that it's a bit of a repeat of what we have done very, very start, but this is a much more in-depth, a much more comprehensive method to assess what product or solution should you be offering. So maybe the ones that we did earlier, the branding and marketing campaign was the first level, I would say, of finding out what product or service I should offer. And now I'm coming up with unique value proposition. Means it's not just a product I'm coming up with. I am showing people my differentiating factor, okay, showing people how I'm different from the rest. At the same time, I am giving more form and more shape to the product by going through this exercise. Because while going through this exercise, you start to gain more and more clarity, and this will eventually translate into your marketing campaign, your content campaign, and your branding as well. So it's a very, very important process. It's a very tedious, unfortunately, very tedious process. It can take hours sometimes, multiple iterations. Don't give up if you find a lot of stumbling blocks. Just get someone who can facilitate a conversation with you. I'm more than happy if you guys want to have this session. I would be more than willing to walk you through, because it's really, really exciting to see how you will arrive at a totally new juncture of what you want to offer to your audience. So again, make sure, if you want to find out more about your clients, or you want to come up with something that's really fitting for them, okay, you're going to work on a value proposition canvas. To find out how you're truly unique, you need to come up with a value proposition canvas where you're going to know your customer gains, customer profile, and value map. So what is your customer? We did the empathy map. So this should be easier than, this is more in depth than the customer empathy map, because the empathy map is their whole surrounding. What do they face? What do they think about? How do they react? What a success looks like. And this is a bit more structured differently. This is meant to see more on a functional level. Functional level, how do they perform their tasks? So just now was more of a social or psychological level. This is more of functional level. And you're going to match your value map where all your skill set matches with them. So when you bring them together, you'll find out what is your unique value proposition. And you can fill up your business canvas with a more effective answer, better answer, clearer answer. So yeah, this is episode 15. There's going to be a lot more of these technical sessions, and I'll try my best to spice it up with more stories, examples, or narratives to help it become much more digestible. If you guys have examples or recommendations, or would like to be featured to have this audited on yourself, let me know in the comments or drop me a message. In the meantime, take care, guys, and stay safe. There'll be more exciting things coming along. Goodbye.